Ladies and gentlemen, this is internet personality Vangelus here with a review of Transformers Animated Fred Willard. Another member of the Animated Hailstorm Foursome, thanks again to the powerful and mighty Hailstorm! Anyway, Swindle is a very deliciously blocky and substantial animated SUV-type vehicle truck thingy. And I really like the number of jagged lines on him. He pulls off the same kind of look that I liked about Ultra Magnus, that being something that's still very clearly animated with that slight roundness to everything, but also managing to pull off some sharp corners here and there. He's also got one of the coolest spring-loaded missile launchers I've seen in quite a while, because when you load it, you get this cool lock and load orange effect, and then when you fire the missile, boom, it's purple again, so I rather enjoy that. His transformation is pretty cheaty, but I still quite like it. It cheats only in that, you know, there's certain amounts of physical warping one can do to a toy before you get to levels of impossibility, but it's still quite clever and satisfying. It's also worth noting at this point that my Swindle has a very strange problem, and it's very likely your Swindle does not, so I'm not going to hold this problem against the toy. In fact, it was only exasperated by my efforts to fix it, so I want to clear that up now, before I get another case of Revenge of the Fallen Mudflap, and hey Vangelus, it's funny how only your toy had the problem, but just, you know, mine doesn't, and then realizing that only my toy did have the problem. Yeah, this chest piece here, as you can see, instead of having the front of the truck somehow contort into this chest shape, it's cheated slightly, but I actually don't mind that at all. I can appreciate that physics must be respected. I do like his head reveal here, too. It's quite clunky and dynamic. This is from that lovely age of animated and universe when dynamic head reveals seem to be all the rage, and I'm hoping that that remains the case in future. So Swindle is really nicely proportioned. I love the way this guy looks. He's got just such nice animated lines all about him, and unfortunately I find he's also got very little balance. You see, he has this interesting transformation step where his wheels fold under his feet. This also means that his heel is non-existent. Some people have just left his wheels folded up, and that gives him a kind of pseudo-heel back here. But I don't know. I like the way it looks when his wheels are folded underneath, so I just kind of try to survive it. So I do have some problems with this guy's balance. You can kind of alleviate it by going wide-legged like this. Now, the other problem that I've had, and this is the one that's really limited to mine, is the shoulders are quite loose. I tried to fix that with ye old super glue trick, and that did work on this one pretty well. This one, however, I soon discovered that if you let even vaguely wet super glue touch this translucent purple plastic, it makes that plastic turn into gooey toffee. I've kind of fixed it since then, but basically my Swindle, he's pretty tight all around, but his shoulders are tremendously loose. This is probably not going to be the case with yours, so I just want to explain that now before you wonder why his arms are flopping all over the place, especially since the side with the really loose connection is also the one the cannon plugs into. The cannon I do really like. It is very G1 Megatron-y. It really works for Swindle's look. I like the way he looks when you're looking down the barrel of this thing. Also, the finger articulation means you can kind of pull off a pseudo-fist. Yeah, when he's looking at you with that grin, and it's kind of like, you know, hey, you want to buy my stuff, or you want me to shove my cannon through your face? I can definitely appreciate and respect that kind of show of one's male alpha. Also, his light piping is very interesting. It somehow, and I'm not sure how this was done, I'm sure there's a very simple explanation for this, somehow his light piping is done so he actually has the pupils he had in Animated. As you can see here, he's got like those really cool kind of top-level ovular pupils, and I love the way that looks. So this is a real light piping success, and I can only give major props to whoever designed that aspect of him. Otherwise, his posability is actually quite adequate. I do really appreciate the number of swivels put into his shoulders so that you have this master shoulder swivel as well as the shoulder ball joint. The only real downside, I think, is his lack of a waist, and maybe the lack of a ball-jointed neck. I would have liked it if he could look down easier, but it still works pretty well. And he's got an interesting action feature in that you can have him go into kind of a battle mode. And to do that, you raise these things up over his head, so they're kind of like his force field generator laser cannon dealies. And then, my favorite part of this is you fold open his personal storage dimension and unload a Gatling gun from his belly. So I just like the ludicrous nature of an actual chain gun, Gatling gun sticking out of his stomach. His colors are perfect for Swindle. The character he's based on is just so loaded with personality, and it translates to the sculpt so excellently through his smirk, through his pupils, through the little businessman, car salesman, and bow tie collar. Really, Swindle is an excellent, excellent animated toy, and another animated toy that I was very pleasantly surprised to see get released, along with Waspinator. I didn't think either of these guys, given the number of episodes they had, would actually get a toy, and it's only to Hasbro's credit that they pulled off this many signature characters from the series, and I only hope that we can somehow get more someday in the future. Overall, Swindle I highly recommend in every sense. He's got G1, he's got animated, he's got a solid pair of modes, he's got a great bonus action feature, wonderful missile launcher. Just really hope that you don't somehow end up with the shoulder leprosy I ended up with. I'm really sure you won't, so highly recommended, and much gushing. Anyway, until next time, ladies and gentlemen, this has been internet personality Vangelus with a Transformers animated review, and I'll see you all in the future. Take care. There's more Hailstorm to come. You know what's funny is I could have sworn I heard something else rattling around in the personal storage dimension. I gotta take a look at this.